My headphones is broken. Ah, got too big. Anyway, what's going on, people? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. All right, listen. This goes out to the people who think that I hate my kind, or I hate myself, or I hate black women, and all this other stuff that they have wrong because you talk about how much black people hate each other. Anyway, so I did a video focusing on work, talking about, you know, women getting men fired, black women getting men fired, and I got some interesting responses. So I am going to, you know, talk about white people at work. Okay, let's not act like white folks won't get you fired. Because they will. But again, I'm not talking about all white people because, you know, some white people actually are glad that you're there. They're like, and I don't mean like fake happy that you're there. They're just like, yes, some culture done walked up into the building, and then they start asking you about every rap group that you know nothing about. Anyway, let's get some music. You guys know this is my music. You can purchase it for like 30 bucks a track. Most of these tracks are unfinished. And I do that on purpose so people won't just snatch my product. Anyways, contact me at tpowell7938 at Yahoo. That's tpowell7938 at Yahoo. And go straight to my PayPal and 30 bucks a track. Anyway, so turn this down a little bit. Alright, so white folk at work. Now to all you white people who are gonna see this, if you don't do this, then I ain't talking about you. Alright, so you know what I'm saying? Because you know your people. You know how your people get down. You know that there's some people who just don't like black people. Look, they don't like anybody. Y'all got some people who got some deep-seated issues. They don't like anybody. Okay, Jeff, you know, and if there's a Jeff out there that I know, I'm not talking about you. But everybody knows somebody in the office who just is a very surly individual. It could be some woman, some man, it doesn't matter. Both sexes have been known to be quite, some people are disruptive. When I worked in the House of Representatives, I was one of 3 black people who were legislative aides there. And let's see, the one young lady, she was like 19. And then me and another guy and I were both around the same age. You know, we were in our 30, 31, somewhere around there. This is back in 99 or whatever. So yes, I'm old, but nonetheless, so here's how the other legislative aides would mess with us, or mess with me. I would be playing NPR, you know, I play NPR music, or I would play other music that was neutral. I wouldn't play no rap, no nothing. I don't even listen to a lot of radio stuff, but I was playing all just stuff like you're hearing now, just regular stuff, and then they would start mocking it. But they would do it, like they wouldn't come out in my face and like, you know, they would laugh at me and everybody would ha ha and all that, huh, you know, but I knew who it was. It was this real bleached blonde haired dude who thought he was something, and in the position like that, especially being that I was a temp and then I got hired on, you don't want to ruffle, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to go to his office like, what's popping? Like you got an issue? You know what I'm saying? What's cracking? Blondie, you know, you don't want to raise up like that, even if you think you can take the individual. The thing is those people are jackasses, and that's just what they are. And you're not going to stop them from being what they are. Now, you can, you know, put on the brakes from them, you know, projecting that towards you. But I just, you know, I heard them laughing. I was like, ha ha, you know, it's funny or whatever. And I kept it moving. Now, I did work with one legislative aide, and he was white. And I was hired on as a temp there. And the thing about it is, when I was done with one office, I would go home. They would say, hey, we want you to come back. So they brought me back 4 times, and I ended up working for two different legislators on the opposite sides. So I would work for the Democrats and the Republicans, and one of the I think he was a Republican actually. What he did was, he wasn't even in office. He was taken over from a senator who moved on from the House of Representatives. He got, put in the Senate seat. And he had a really cool secretary, an older white woman. She was great. She was so awesome. And she was like older, like she was in her 70s, but she was so awesome. But anyway, so this guy was coming into office. He wasn't even in there yet, but you need a legislative aide there to answer the phone for the constituents. So they saw that I was doing a good job at this, suit and tie every day, playing with the big dogs. So I come in there, I'm doing my thing. Lady calls me. She's like, my husband works for the post office. And, she's all upset and crying. And she's, I'm listening to her like, so what happened? And she said, basically, they missed their enrollment date. Now, if you don't know what that is, that means when your health care comes around, they send out a letter to everyone, and that letter says this is the time when you can enroll in this health care program. If you do not respond within a certain amount of time, that health care program closes, and you're pretty much on your own until that enrollment date opens up again, which could be the next year. The problem is, in this woman's case, her husband was, 40, 50-ish, but he took a lot of medicine, and the medicine wasn't generic. It was, it would cost them a lot if they took it out of pocket. But that's how the household ran. She took care of him, and he took care of her. Very traditional, and they were Caucasian. I was listening to this woman. I was like, okay, that's wrong. And she was like, the post office sent us the letter late, so we missed our enrollment date, and they won't let us into the healthcare program. So I'm fired up because this is a post office worker. This is not some dude out there messing around, just, some random whatever. This is somebody who you depend on to get your information. So I was like, nah, you don't play with the post office workers. We don't do that. So I was like, okay, what's his name? So she gave me she said she spoke to the postmaster. I was just like, that's an elected position. I was like, what's his name? She told me what his name was, his full name. I called that dude up, called him by his first name. And I was like, yeah, Jeff, this is, Brother Toad. No, but I told him my name, and I told him what office I was calling from, the House of Representatives, and what representative. And he was listening, and I said, listen, I had a woman, call up and told me a situation, and I said, you need to do something about that. And he was like, okay, I'll take care of it. Hung up the phone. That lady called me back about maybe 3 or 4 days later, and she was in tears, and she was just like, thank you so much. You helped me out so much. And she said, not only did you help me, you helped out a bunch of other people who this was happening to. So I was just like, okay, cool. I'm glad everything's, fine. Call me back if you need, if Jeff ain't acting right, give Big Tone a call. You got nah, but I told her, you call me back if there's another issue. She couldn't thank me enough. So the representative who lived in that area went in to get his prescription, and the pharmacist says, oh, you're the one who helped us. And he was like, what are you talking about? He was like, and then he told him what happened. See, it wasn't just the post office. It trickled down to the pharmacy. It trickled over to, all kind of people who needed help with this one issue that cost people thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month. And so when he actually came into the office, he was just like, you know, he told me the story of how, you know, the pharmacist was just like, yeah, I didn't even know what happened. He was telling me, he said, so thank you, you're doing a good job. Now, it came to the point where they needed to look for somebody to do the job that I was doing. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to hire on a regular legislative aide. I'm already in this position. I'm doing a great job. Your constituents know me. I'm holding it down before you even get here. He gonna tell me, he'd be like, you're just a temp. I'm like, I'm just a temp who's been knocking his job out before you even stepped in the office. And then whenever he would introduce me, he would be like, yeah, this is so-and-so. He's just a temp. Now, to say that it hurt my feelings is an understatement, because it took me a minute to really figure out what he was doing. You know, he was pretty much saying that you're just not qualified because you're just a temp. And I'm sure my race had a lot to do with it. But it's the little things that they see. When black people come at you, they come at you on a, you know what it is. They don't really hide their disdain for you. But when white people come at you, they do it it's the little things that just blow up to big things. It means, it's the little things that mean a lot. And they do it on the slide. You got to really, you be like, every time you introduce me to somebody, you like, he's just a temp. And then finally they went ahead and hired somebody, some white chick, you know, and sent me a letter, you know, saying that they hired her. Sent it to my house saying that we hired this person. I was just like, why would you, you know, so I was just like, okay, cool. I went ahead and worked for another representative until her and I both moved over to ODJFS. So I was just like, okay, cool. That's how you want to operate. Now, when I left the House of Representatives, I had a position that was brought to me. Like I said, not all white people are bad. There was a white dude who worked for the Department of Liquor. And he was like, we need an agent. And he had been talking to me long before I left the house. He was just like, come down and apply for this job. So I went and applied for that job. And I was just like, yeah. And so when I went and applied for that job, then they called me in for an interview. And I had a panel interview. Now, there was this, I don't know if she was black, but she was, you know, darker skinned, and everybody else was white. Another white woman, two white men. They were asking me all kind of questions. They know that I'm coming from the House to represent. These are not people you play with. People who are in the House, you don't play with them, because all of your positions are governed by being elected. And all we got to do is be like, you know what? Let me go talk to my boss about what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Including the police. You know, whenever police came at us, I was just like, okay, when I get back to work, I'm going to talk to you about that. You know, we're going to see about what you're saying is true. Nonetheless, that's another story. But so I do this panel interview, and then they ask me, they say, we want you to go ahead and write down this sentence for us, you know, this paragraph, and tell us how you would handle this situation. And I spelled like 2 words wrong. And they were like, well, according to this, we want our agents to be able to spell better, so we're not going to hire you. And I was like, because I misspelled 2 words, 2, out of a whole paragraph. And I was like, yeah, I see what you're doing. So I didn't get that job, right? I'm pissed off, right? I'm pissed off. So then they send me out a letter again and ask me to come back to the Department of Liquor, you know, and I go up there, right, looking, you know what I'm saying? I go up there looking right, some fresh autos on, you know what I'm saying? Nice suit, nice tie, looking sprack. I walk up in there and this, I don't know if she was black or not, but she wasn't white. And she goes, yeah, we just wanted to tell you that we hired somebody else. You know, we hired this, you know, white person or whatever. And I was like, you brought me all the way up here. And she was smiling the whole time. I was like, you brought me all the way up here to humiliate me? So I ended up talking to their boss on the phone. He was like, what do you want? And I wanted that job because the white dude in there told me, he was like, listen, we didn't interview nobody else. You were the only one. See, like I said, when white people don't like you, they in positions, they do stuff that just, it's little, but boom, it hits you so hard. That was a whole career that I could have had, but they discriminated against me, and they did it and made up this arbitrary rule, but you couldn't fight it. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't fight it. There's nothing you could do. So I had to, eat humble pie and like, and during that time, I started to realize that none of those jobs would have been mine anyway. You know what I'm saying? They would have just been temporary, occupations. But nonetheless, when I was, 30, 32, that job would have changed my life. You're talking about being able to afford a family, because these women, they're just like, nah, you're just a temp. We know you're going to be working here one time and then you're going to be struggling. We not with that. Some women were like that. Other women were like, I don't care. But nonetheless, you want to be able to support your fam and have a family. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't send money home to my daughter. Like I would have been, I was already sending money to my daughter, but I wasn't sending what I really wanted. I wanted to be like, you know what I'm saying? Boom, So it hurt. That's what hurt. It hurt me really bad. I never forgot it. It hurt. I still see those people's face. It just hurt because it meant so much to me. And the good white dude was like, I couldn't believe they did that to you. He's like, you're the only person who we even had interested. But when they saw my face, they was like, nope, not having it. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I don't trust anyone, right off the bat, regardless of what color they are. I just don't do that. I don't think that white people are some godsend when it comes to work. I think that if they're nice to me, they're nice to me. If they're not, they're not. I don't look and go, oh, the white people are going to treat me better than the black, because that's not always the case. I don't look at the black people and go, damn, here we go. I look at them and be like, what's cracking? And if they're like, what's up? I'm like, okay, everything is kosher, you know what I'm saying? And the white people, I say the same thing. What's cracking? And they're just like, where's it? You know what I'm saying? It's all good. So I don't walk into any job and think that it's going to go bad. When it goes bad, it goes bad. And last story I'm going to tell you, because we told my white people at work, I was working this day labor job. Is this video too long? All right, this video is too long. I'll tell you guys, another story of white people at work. And yeah, God loves you, so do I, man. Enjoy the music. Don't forget to contact me if you're interested in it. And yeah, God loves you, so do I. My dance moves.